I have so many uncompleted projects. It's ridiculous for me to start this one. But that's what's happening. Hey, everybody. Adam Savage in my cave and painting crab. It's time for a paint job. It's time to sink my teeth into a nice, fat, difficult, complex, variegated, difficult paint job. And I have recently had a couple of experiences using alcohol inks. We did a shoot at our friends FBFX in London, and their lead painter, Anadora, walked me through Copic refill paints. Copic is a alcohol-based marker, and they sell refills. And then I went over to Sideshow, where one of their lead painters was walking me also through alcohol inks and how great they are at really subtle weathering things. So I have this marvelous figure. I'll tell you more about this figure later in the video, but I have this marvelous 3D printed crab dude with a tremendous amount of attitude. We have printed him up nice and large. I'm going to be looking at some interesting reference, specifically blue lobsters. Blue lobsters, the one in a million. But first, this is it's not freshly resin printed, but it's resin printed, and I can't really see it. So, and what I mean by not being able to see it is, if this needs any cleanup, I can't quite tell. So I'm going to give this all a coat of some white primer, and then we can get started in painting this. One of the great things about the design of this figure is that where all the joints meet, no finishing is required as long as your paint job matches across it. It's beautifully, beautifully drawn. Okay, we're just gonna do some setting up and some painting. Okay, so he's crab is primered. I'm going to pull the sticks out of him and glue him with some hot glue together so he is all one form. I now need to, now that I can see him and I can see all his topography, it's time for me to put him all together and then spend a couple of days sort of staring at him. That's the goal. Stare at him, see what I can learn from him. Yeah, that's where we're going now. Oh, yeah, look at that beautiful boy. Okay. Let's get this all glued up. Excellent. We're going to do just little dots here and there. He's beautiful. He's so pretty. Okay, we're going to make a little base for him so I can turn it around. So primed, and you see what I mean by being able to see the form. So let's talk about this character. This is Herman Pinsky wearing your hat in the cave. When did that happen? A creation of artist Paul Braddock. Paul has a website. We'll include a link in the description. He draws these beautiful characters in the digital frame, and then for a really reasonable price, I think this one's $30. If I'm wrong, they'll correct me in the super text. And then you print it yourself, and then you paint it. And I want to tell you, this is such a beautiful sculpt. But even more than, and I think I alluded to this, that's what I really love about it is that, oh, yeah, there you go, is that the seam lines where the parts of the body join together are all already part of the aesthetics Paul has drawn. So here's what I want to say about Paul Braddock's beautiful work, is that the modeling here with the deep crevasses and the clear fat transitions between shell forms, this model has been optimized to paint. I'm not sure if that was in his original plan, but I want to tell you as a painter, like, you just always wish someone would deliver you something with this much marvelous surface detail to explore. Now it is incumbent on me to paint this because that's what I wanted to do. I put them together because I had this idea for a paint job. And I have this really ambitious paint schema I want for him, in that I'm always compelled when they find those blue lobsters, not the breed of lobster called a blue lobster. I mean the ones that are like 1 in a million, that are like fully blue, and the fishermen always throw them back. Those are so gorgeous. And there are some orange blue hybrids, which Herman Pinsky here is going to end up being for me. I took some pictures in my house yesterday and just did a little spin around of him. And I was really just sort of looking for, this is all preliminary to painting. I mean, you know, I know a lot of art directors that would just grab colored markers and start coloring on there. But I wanted to visualize it in my head first, the ideas of what parts would get what color and how that color would fade and transition to other colors. I found one detail on a real crab that I really like, which is that at the tops of all the spikes of this blue crab was bright, bright, bright orange. And I think I might follow that. But I'm also nervous. It's going to be a long paint job. It's going to take me a while. There's going to be a lot of steps to it. I need to primer it white now into separate pieces. I need to take it apart into separate pieces, prime it white, then actually start to lay down the color. Start to lay down the base colors, right? So it's going to, I believe that what I'm going to do is give it a very gentle off-white all over. And then I'm going to go for a kind of a medium light brown beige, which I'm going to leave the belly sort of, let the beige circle the belly. So it's like the whitest part of him. It's the whitest part of me. And then fade out to the other colors, the oranges and the blues. I'm also going to lay that brown into all the interstices here, but that might be later with the alcohol inks. So that's the first step. But I just want to say I'm a little bit reticent to start. Like, you know, I've just got a couple of hours before I have a lunch date, and part of me could just fart around rebuilding a shelf. But like, I know I want to get to painting this. I know I want to fire up this airbrush. So I'm going to do that. It's a chaotic process, and I just want to give you permission at home, watching, let the chaos of the process play out. Yeah, I feel a little vulnerable is what I'm really, all of this is trying to say about painting this. I do also want to alert you to a new piece of equipment that I am madly in love with, which is the very thing this spins on. I know you might say, well, that just looks like a lazy Susan, Adam. And yes, I guess one word for this would be a lazy Susan. But if you are a potter, or if you have enjoyed any of those videos of potters hand hammering little teapots on a heavy spinning wheel, that's what this is. It's called a banding wheel. I'll include a link to this one in the description. Heavy, smooth. My wife has been doing some pottery, and she got a banding wheel, and I was like, whoa. And these are less expensive than you think, about $75 for one of these. And I mean, it weighs like 3 pounds. It's a really heavy thing. It's absolutely fantastic for doing this kind of work. It's just delightful. And I'm so happy to have it in my cave. Why am I walking around it when I have this banding wheel and I can just turn it? Because I don't want to get paint on my new banding wheel. Hey, check this out. This is a 2-stage HEPA filter. So, this is really cool. My friend Jan I used to work with Jan way back in the day when I was a young model maker in San Francisco in the early 90s. He was regularly a grip gaffer on commercial sets that I was on. And after 25 years or so as a general contractor, he just retired and gave me some equipment. Among it is this portable HEPA filter with 2 filters, a particulate and a HEPA. And I just ran a little test with my smoke machine to my satisfaction that if I sit here and airbrush, that all of the smoke runs into here. And I don't know if you saw, but no smoke came out there. Yeah, it's really cool. I've been wanting to sit at this table and safely paint without a mask for a long time, and now we can do it. So it might not be much to me to get started. Sorry about the noise. Let's talk about painting. So I am right now, I've mixed a very light brown, and I am using it to coat this and then also take it a bit off. So I've got some brown on here all over the place, and I'm gonna take a little rubbing alcohol and pull it off the high spots. I just want it to sit. That's why I gave this thing such a gloss coat, so I could get the dirt to sit inside. And I could use rubbing alcohol to pull off the paint, and I get a really nice result. Rubbing alcohol flashes quickly. And I can just keep on coming in here and messing with this. And when I like it, I'll clear coat it. But I wanted to show you one of the legs and show you, like, I use this coat to kind of get to know the model and how paint is going to help me see it. All painting is about being able to see the thing and see it clearly. So I just want to show you here. Okay, so here is unpainted leg. Just take a look. Take a look at unpainted leg. I'm just going to spin it so you can kind of get to know it. Notice the joints. Notice the planes. Think about what gets dirty when it moves. Yeah. Flip it. It's all just getting to know it. All right, now let's add a little bit of paint. Sorry about that. Okay. Now we're going to just pull off a little bit. Oh, look at that. Do you see what I'm saying? putting it on, taking it off. Right? I mean, look, it's really, really subtle. Okay, so already I can see that, like, this little line is going to want a little treatment. And I'm going to want to, oh, yeah, it's building up, taking it down. Building up, taking it down. Here we go. So I hope that's a little bit of a object lesson in how to kind of, so do you see all of a sudden each of these parts of the beautiful sculpt start to look like they connect with each other. They start to look like they have relationships. Yeah, let's fix that down there. Oh, sorry about that. Oh, wait, hey, don't you, Mom. All right, so now I'm gonna, with all of these finished on that first pass, I am now going to add in some real dark into these and be pulling it back right away. So I'll be spraying, pulling, spraying, pulling. And my goal is to get some dark to lie down in all of these little interstices. I got to do that before I do any of the other stuff. Okay, I think I want to go even darker brown. So you see how dark I get? Get dark all around, all over there, all over there. Now we're going to pull it back off. Oh, look at that, right? Right? There's nothing quite like that feeling, I swear. See what that does? See that? Let's take a look at the difference between these two. See? Yeah. Right? You can see this one better than you can see this one. Yeah. All right, now we'll do the face. It's all in there. feels like, I don't know, feels to me like a moment of truth. Blue and orange. I feel like I've got really great orange pattern on here, a variegation, saturation. I feel like I'm pretty happy with how that's laying out, and I can modulate later. I have a curious thing in which part of me wants to coat this with a clear coat and then hit it with the blue, because that'll allow me to take out, I think I'm gonna have to do that. I won't be able to adjust the blue because as soon as I hit it, it's gonna blend with the orange. So I think what I need to do is pull off some of the orange, yeah, and then add in some of the blue. Put that there for now for safekeeping. So I'm just using a little bit of damp rubbing alcohol on the face of this to bring it on down. And slowly just, actually let me get it. I've got these two colors, orange and blue. They're kind of at either end of a color spectrum. And they play beautifully together, but they gotta play together. I need the oranges to be bright and the blues to be vivid. And as soon as you have paints, orange and blues mixing, that's no good. So I always knew I was going to paint the orange first. And like I said, I've got, I think, a really nice, that feels quite authentic as far as a coloring for a crustacean. So I'm giving it a barrier coat, which means I can no longer mess with the orange. If I mess it up from here, I don't just strip paint. I have to re-primer the whole thing, which is fine. I can totally do that. Yeah, I want to get you a better top shot here. Now I'm reaping the rewards of having done the cover coats, because I'm pulling the blue off the white and it's giving me this great topography here. I'm very happy. Here comes some of this business. Yep. Okay, let's get this going. See that? Look at that. That is some bold. I'm so happy. Oh, yeah. Okay. It's happening. I feel like I've got this paint job on the run. I feel like, oh, right, it's almost time to do that business. That's business. All right, I think it's time. I think it's time to do a rough assembly, because I got to start looking at these pieces and how they relate to each other. So we are going to get the legs on the body. And we're going to get them, oh, no. Stuck right there. There we go. Head. Ho ho! Ho ho ho! Oh, Herman. We're getting there. Okay. One thing I'm going to tell you about your paint job is that it's going to suck all the time. It's going to suck all the way through your execution of it. It's not bad. It's not bad. I need a darker blue coming in. I've got some of the relationships right. I'm pleased with the overall, but I can see in camera that I still haven't quite got the saturation that I want. So I'm going to muck with that a little bit, and I'm going to go for a, let's see here. How about a cadmium orange? That's nice. That's rich. That's rich. So I'm going to get some of that going. Actually, first, I'm going to pull back some of the blue where the orange is so that I can then pump up the orange. There's also going to be some, I'm going to do a wet wipe to bring up some texture here. What I mean by texture. So I have a seal coat under the blue. So that means if I hit it, I get a little, see that little extra detail I get? See that? Those are all bonuses I get because I sealed in between my coats. Then I can come in here, I can, look at that. Look at all that texture coming out. Now it starts to look like an actual animal, right? I gotta get that blue a little richer. Okay, watch here. Watch what happens here when I hit this. My finger is slightly damp with rubbing alcohol. See that? I can pull out all that beautiful texture. As it dries, I'm able to rub even harder and kind of really attenuate how much I'm pulling off. Oh, too much. Ooh, that's terrible. Let's see if I can fix that. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's not bad. I'm really, really, really getting happy with how the various details are shaping up. This kind of work in here, this is really, I'm pleased. This orange still needs a pop. It still needs to pop a little bit. That's all right. I have time to do that. I'm almost at the point where it's time to start doing like an acrylic. Yeah, I think, is it time to add another barrier coat? Let's pull the pieces off and I'll detail each one. Then I'll do some barrier coats. There we go. This is Interim. I'll do some barrier coats and then we'll get that orange to pop. That's great. Yeah, I didn't turn it on while I was looking at it in the thing, but I'm really, I really feel like I've got this paint job on the run. I keep saying that exact phrase. Yeah. So right now it's all a bit bright, and I know that's a phase that we're going through. What I'm going to do is I'm going to glue him back together, hot glue him back together. And then I'm going to, actually, no, sorry. I'm going to take him all the way apart and do some clear coating of his various bits so that I can, deal with them. That's great. So we're going to do some clear coating. One of the other reasons I love clear coats is they tend to tie a paint job together a little bit. They give you a little bit of refraction, right? Because they're just ever so slightly deep, and they make the paint job just a little bit better. I'll probably hit this with a semi-gloss at the very end, or even a dusted of a matte. But right now, like the brightness is really helping me. Also, the texture of this model is so much fun to paint. My hat is off to the artist. He's just like, this is deliriously fun to paint. And this, one of the best investments I've made. Now, I think I'm done with the alcohol inks. I think now it's time to do some spots. And in doing spots, I'm gonna go to acrylic. Actually, I tell a lie, I'm not doing spots just yet. Now I'm gonna do a lot of the internal interstice bits. The transitions, the fleshy transitions, and I'm gonna use some like, some fleshy colors in there, very lightly. I'm gonna do some with airbrush, some with application. We will see. I think I gotta let this thing sit overnight. I think it's just a little too wet. I'm really happy with how this is coming across. There's some real fleshy bits. It's really shining. All right. I don't know. 5:30. Yeah, I think I can. It's going great. I'm I really couldn't be more pleased with how it's going. I think that the oil, the alcohol inks do a really cool thing, which is because they're transparent, they give me all the saturation I want. And honestly, every place I look close up on this guy, he looks really good. He still needs a bunch. He needs a bunch of spots and he needs a bunch of weathering. I am also going to add a little bit of some pink, some pink fleshy, like in some of the corners here and there. And I'm very curious about how I will solve the hands. The hands are really interesting, but it's going great. I'm really pleased. I think that, like I said, I'm done with the alcohol inks. I'm going to break out some acrylics, some modeling acrylics. Did I not clean out my airbrush? I did not. There we go. As I look upon him super close, I find that the jewel tones of the oil, it's early. Good morning. As I come in today and review the painting of Herman Pinsky here, Paul Braddock's amazing figure, I noticed that up close, every little detail sells to me. I love the wear. I love the transitions. I think that my original drawings of how the orange, blue, and lighter colors lay out was actually pretty darn close. I'm really happy with his face, and there are some washes that I want to go over him with. And also he's going to need spots, and there's 3 kinds of spots. There's going to be orange spots over blue, light blue spots over blue, and some dark blue spots over orange. I'm going to be very careful about those. Again, I should be able to wash them off because this has all been clear coated, and the paint job has a beautiful depth. I'm going to shoot some B-roll of this. The very last thing I'm doing on this guy is painting the gloss eyes. That'll be the thing that brings it home, brings it all the way home. So yeah, let me get you some B-roll of some nice close-ups. So one of the things that will happen here is that I'll hit this with a wash, and a lot of this kind of detail will get a little line, and that will help separate those things out. Because like that texture, amazing. This texture, hold on, let me back out a little bit. This texture, I could not be happier with it. Need some spots. And see there, like some transitions here. Once I get the wash on, that'll make all of those so much better. Oh man, yeah, I'm really happy with this. Oh, you know what else? I had an inspiration as I was painting his face, and I gave him some slightly orange eyebrows. And I gotta say, the way the orange like breaks down on him, I also didn't imagine when I was looking at my reference material. My favorite part of blue crabs that are half blue, half orange is that often their spikes are bright, bright orange. And I was not sure how well I would be able to get that. And I'm really pleased with how the bright orange went here. Yeah, so we're going to get some, I'm going to do the spots first because that's the hardest part. Then the washes. The washes will tie it all together. For this, I'm going to be using some Mission Models acrylics. I've got some thinner for that. It's funny. There's this in machining stuff. You are frequently doing the most delicate operation of the build last. I.e., you know, I will spend a couple of days machining some very key part, and then one of the last things I end up doing with it is tapping like small 080 or 172 holes, and you know, you snap that tap in there, and sometimes you have to scrap the whole part you've spent a few days on. So as you get towards the latter parts of a machining build, small changes can be existentials. I'm sorry, some camera stand keeps slowly creeping. Painting is not dissimilar in that, look, I was nervous to start this paint job. Even though I'm super happy with how it's turning out, I'm nervous to continue it because each new step feels existential. Like if I screw up the dots on this, I don't want to restart this paint job. I'm invested. So at this point, my reference material is more like helpful hints, not a guideline. And the object itself sort of informs me what's next. And part of me wants to start the dots on the back because I think it goes from lighter dots to darker dots, but I'm not positive about that. And I do know that I want some darker dots across the bottom of this. So I'm going to just try some in this Acadian blue, powder blue, see how that comes out. If it doesn't work, I can just wipe them back off with a little rubbing alcohol. So that's within the mental framework of, you don't have to know how to build the whole thing. You just have to know the next step. Now with the paint job, I am moving towards each next step that I know. If I'm still not sure after I get some dots on the arms how the back lays out, I'm gonna get out some pinks, and I'm just gonna add a little bit of a real fleshy pink to some of his nether regions, just to make him feel a little more vulnerable. Also in the face mechanics. All right. That's still, that's fine. I think that's opaque enough. Great. When I was at Gentle Giant, the painters there told me that they often took the shroud off the front of their airbrush because it gave them better control. And also the shroud, you know, if you're just painting all day long every day, the shroud just sits there to get caked with paint. So I've removed the shroud, but it also means that there's this like key part to my Iwata I'm watching float around the workbench. Okay. Yeah, that sound you hear, that's my compressor, my little tiny Iwata compressor just kicking up to add some stuff. Oh, right, I want to turn that on too before I start painting. My shop assistant, Liam, cut me some beautiful friskets, some stencils for the dot patterns. And I'm really not going to get fancy about this. I'm just gonna do a kind of a moment where it's like psh, psh, and see how that comes across. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Yeah, I like to work in pairs because our guy is bilaterally symmetrical. Damn, look at those teeth. Look at those. Look at those. They look so good. After all the work of cutting out these friskets, I will keep them because they will be useful in the future, but I ended up hand painting all the dots. And it's actually, I know it's quite shiny, which means it's slightly hard to see, but what you need to know is I'm almost done here. I'm ready to assemble it and glue it. Then there's a couple of, well, there'll be a semi-gloss coat of clear, and then there'll be a wash. That should tie this whole thing together. What a wash will do is like, it'll take there's just a slight amount of muddiness to this right now. And the wash will crisp that up. It'll darken all the transitions and make that pop. So we're going to assemble, we're going to glue Herman together for his final time. I mean, I can pull them apart if I need to. But here we go. One advantage to painting the dots separately after a clear coat is that I can actually go in also and remove dots one at a time. Yeah, everything that doesn't look right. And honestly, for me, this kind of paint job, it lives and dies on that close-up view. Like wherever there's like a little bit of a takes you out, so you take it out. That's the goal. It's like everything that overly catches your eye, that's the trick. Get rid of everything that draws too much attention. Right now I'm finding that my slightly damp with ISO Q-tip is acting sort of like a gentle eraser, so it's sort of taking down the value of these spots and it's sort of blending them better, and I like that. So I'm just going to go through and sort of do all around. One more coat of clear coat, and then I'll do the black wash. And then I'll probably do a matte coat on top of that to tie it all together. And then I'll have to make a base for him. He's gonna look so pretty, Herman is. All right, here we go. All right, I can't avoid the wash any longer, so we're going to do it. Okay, I'm going to just start with the black. Look at all that. Look at all that free detail. I'm using a wash by Vallejo Paints. They make this wash effects paint in many different colors, and I just love this black. I've been using it for a couple of years, and I can't get enough of it. Just look at all that. Look at all that. What that does. It's amazing. Phenomenal. Outstanding. So the whole point of a wash is to be able to put it on and imperfectly remove it. Not perfectly, imperfectly. Well, I can't get my stuff in there in certain spots, and that's good. Yeah, there you go. Oh, yeah, look at that. I am going to. Wait. All right. So I have him fully washed. I am now going to bring in a little bit of this Copic light pink. Looks like that. And most of the idea is to get a little bit of some pink highlights in the edges and the finger joints and stuff, just to make it feel like you can sense some of the flesh underneath. That's the idea. So, here we go. Oh, hold on. Whoop. Sorry. Yeah. Trying to paint the eyes. I'm so happy. I'm gonna leave him gloss because it feels like he just walked out of the sea. Herman Pinsky, who I've labeled here. Paul Braddock, your work is very beautiful. And the levels of texture you have built into your 3D CAD file are such a gift for a painter. Thank you. I hope this helped you with some of your painting. This is the hardest paint job I've ever tackled. Full stop. And I am extremely pleased. There's a few things that didn't turn out the way I expected them to, but this guy is, I feel like he's fully realized, and I'm really, really happy. He's gorgeous. Hey there. I spent the weekend with this beautiful creature. He sat on my desk at home. I broke out some isopropyl alcohol and finessed his final layer of weathering. I was thinking about it over the weekend, and I was thinking there's one last thing I wanted to impart to you. About paint jobs like this. So you saw how I broke this paint job into components, which I was able to individually adjust. Each time I got those layers to a place I liked, I would add a barrier coat. I wanted to explain that the way I know that I've got a layer I like is that it fools me, that I don't see any of the marks of my industry on it. So when I'm going through and I'm looking at all the different weathering, I'm looking for anything that feels like a brushstroke to me. I want to take a close-up of this and feel like it could be any animal shell. That's the sort of illusion that I want for my own brain. But I wanted to talk about the eyes, because the shininess of the eyes is something that, like, everyone I've shown this to has remarked upon. And I want to say gloss surfaces are the bugbear 100% nightmare of painting. They will just ruin your week. And you can get into this. I've gotten into the sunk cost fallacy on glossy surfaces so many times where you're like, okay, I just need to fix this little spot and then I can get it going. And the truth is, for glossy well, first of all, the truth is, for a character, the eyes are super, super vital in terms of getting them right. We did a video recently, last year, on Brian Henson's company, Doppel, that made 3D prints of you. Unfortunately, Doppel had to close its doors. This economy is far out, man. But one of the things I loved about covering Doppel and talking to Brian Henson about it was Brian is a lifelong character guy. He's a sculptor. He's a performer. He's a director. He's got an incredible and impeccable eye. And so he knew that if they're going to make figures of people, that you can't feel like they're in the uncanny valley. And the director in him, the art director, the person with that eye that knows how to make something look great, who's done so many special effects, he knew crush the blacks on the face to get the details a little more heightened. And then there's a gloss dot on each eye. And that dot, that little kick of light, if you can get it, it will really help sell the character that you're building. So I knew the minute I saw this print that I wanted those eyes to be gloss, 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 glossy gloss. So the other thing about a gloss surface is it takes time. You got to let time happen. You can't layer on your paint too fast, because it will start to dry in uneven layers. It will craze. It will start to become textured. It will remain soft for too long. So you got to creep up on a gloss surface, and surface prep is everything. So I simply gave this thing like 3 fat coats of white primer. And each time I was doing it, going all the way around and priming all the parts, I'd spend an extra at the end of every spray, an extra on the eyes, just like layer it in. And then I'm leaving for the day and coming back the next day, right? So I'm letting it dry for a whole night. Then as I started doing the clear coats, the barrier clear coats. And remember, there's like 5 of those on this, 4 or 5. Each time I got to the clear coat and I was giving it another special on the eyes. And I just keep on looking at them. And I see some of the build marks from the layers of the resin print. But for the most part, I see them going away and going away. And I think maybe I can just keep layering on these coats of paint, which by now number almost 10, and that they will give me this gloss without me having to do some sanding or surface prep. I really just want it to be, and reader, I was able to achieve that. But that is specifically my institutional knowledge of let's creep up on this, because the glossiness of this is going to be everything. The other thing is, when something is this high detail oriented, don't do it early. I dropped this head while I was sanding the bottom of the feet. Luckily, I didn't mess up that paint job, but like every time I do a gloss finish too early because I'm excited about it or I'm nervous about it, I want to get it out of the way, then in the process of building, I will mar it or harm it. And yeah, that stuff will just ruin your day. Anyway, all I want to do is paint more things now. But I'm going to wrap up all the paints here because the next build is a mechanical one. There will be more painting this year because I'm super into this scale. And I forgot how much a paint job can surprise me. And that's my favorite part about painting. I painted my Iron Man Mark I many years ago, and that paint job still surprises me. It still fools me. I look at it really close and I'm like, damn, it looks good. This one, I just spent all weekend looking at the really close-up pieces, and like, I gotta say, the alcohol inks and the amount of color saturation I was able to get. I know I've said all this before, but I'm just so excited about this, so I'm continuing to talk in this coda. Sorry about that. Hey, if you know of some other marvelous mythical creatures, and I don't mean AI, I went looking on Etsy for STLs and printable files for creatures. And there's a lot of it. There's a lot of AI out there. I just want to say this. I'm not interested in printing up an AI figure. I can tell, I recognize them because I see a lack of a point of view. If you are an Etsy seller and you are making digital figures and you want me to know they're not AI, have a little video of you doing your process so that I can see. I just can't deal with that same AI cutesy face that just keeps on generating. But hand sculpted, digitally sculpted by artists, mythical creatures in this scale type of print, let me know in the comments because I want to print more of these. I want to paint more of these. This was beyond challenging and way beyond fun. And even farther beyond that for satisfaction. Now I'm really going. We're really finishing this video. Okay. Say goodbye, Herman.
You're still here? Great. I want to tell you about some of the stuff we've got for sale at adamsavage.com, including a new gear bag. I know it looks like 2 gear bags, but these are 2 versions of the same bag. And this is a new line we're calling the Everyday Gear Bag, or EDGB. This is inspired by a gear bag I made for a piece of kit last year. I found this beautiful red zipper I really liked. And then I took some sailcloth and I made a bag of this form factor. And I just sort of fell in love with this kind of lunchboxy kind of thing. So we made a bunch of them. Most of them are in red. A few precious ones are in orange. And if we sell out, we will make some more. Go to adamsavage.com and get yours today.